All right. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another day of SaberSim's DFS office hours. Today is Monday, March 18th of 2024. Looking ahead, we have an 8-game NBA main slate tonight. We have a 2-game NHL slate. Hope you guys enjoyed the ending to the Players' Championship. Yesterday was a very exciting finish. But with that said, we got to jump in here. For those of you who are new here, welcome. My name is Andrew. I'm one of the coaches over here at SaberSim. This is a show where we go over how to use the SaberSim app, answer any and all DFS related questions. You get your questions in one of 3 ways here. First off, send us an email, support@sabersim.com. Second, post it live in the YouTube chat. Third way, post it in the office hours channel in our Discord server. If you're not in our Discord and want to get access to that channel, there is a link in the description of this video. You also get access to our similar channels, individual sport channels, and you get access to the rest of the SaberSim team here. So I can't say enough good things about the Discord. But with that said, we do this show Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern, and on Saturdays, we do this show at 11 a.m. Eastern. So today is Monday, first show of the week. And with that said, we do have our new 2024 PGA mini challenge. If you guys haven't seen it, this is a 4-week challenge we are doing between the players and I believe the Valero Open here. And you get access to awesome prizes here. So SaberSim golf hat. We have prizes for the highest finisher each week. We're giving away tickets to next week's contest each and every week. And then if you win the tournament, you get an awesome SaberSim custom golf bag. So if you guys are not signed up, I would highly recommend getting signed up. There is still time to earn prizes here. Going to drop the link in the YouTube chat. And we have to announce the winners for this last week here. So looks like our highest finisher was Clags 22 with a 94th place finish and 591 fantasy points. So he or she is going to be winning a Travis Matthew quarter zip pullover here for being the highest finisher of the week. And then we had 124 people max out the $3 birdie contest. And what we are going to do is I've taken all the names here. I am going to do a spin right now to see who gets free entry into next week's contest. So going to hit shuffle a couple times here. And we are going to spin and see who our winner will be. All right. Congratulations. You are our winner for this week. So congratulations to Muppet Dog. Congratulations to Clags22. We appreciate everybody who participated this last week. And we will be reaching out to the winners to let them know that they've won here. So keep participating. We got a couple more things on the horizon here, and then we'll see where we go. But happy to be doing some type of challenge and some type of giveaway. All right. So with that out of the way here, we are going to jump into our regularly scheduled office hours. So I have SaberSim pulled up here. Let me just get SaberSim pulled up solo here just to save some space. All right. And we are going to jump into questions. It looks like our first question here came in, I think, Florida Bear here. All right. So it looks like this question came in on Saturday afternoon. Question says, does the red lightning bolt tell you if your goalie is not starting? So basically, GM33 jumped in here and answered the question for me. So the red lightning bolt, basically what it does is it looks at your entries file, and then it says, are there any players in this entries file whose projection is 0? Because what will happen is if new sims run and somebody gets rolled out, their projection will go to 0. So if you have exposure to a player who has a 0 projection, then the red lightning bolt will activate. So if your goalie is not starting and a sim runs and, the sim puts that goalie at 0 fantasy points, then yes, it would let you know that your goalie is not starting in that case. All right. Next question here. Question says, if there is no projection change for a last and only late game of the normal full slate, Does it make sense to still run a late swap? What otherwise changes does it take into account? Any new information, or is everything the same as the information prior to opening the late swap tab? Okay, so the answer to this question is going to depend on what subscription level you have, right? So the reason for that is because if you are on, so the way I would describe it is that if you are on a non-ultimate subscription, which I'm answering it that way first because I see that you are on a non-ultimate subscription. So if you're on non-ultimate, I would only late swap if you see significant projection changes. Now, what we do in the Discord is when a sim runs and a player moves plus or minus 2 points, we are going to summarize that information. And we only do this within the hour prior to lock through the end of lock. Okay. So what will happen is, we see this Brooklyn sim here, right? Brooklyn sim starts, Brooklyn sim finishes. It says no significant projection changes. This means that no players move plus or minus 2 points, which basically means that, hey, whatever information came out, let's say if like the lineup got confirmed, it was already matching like the expected lineup. And so there were no significant changes. Now we see this other sim here for Atlanta and the Clippers. Well, it looks like Norman Powell got ruled out. He went from 23 to 0. And then in place, Bones Highland projection went up. So both of these projection changes are greater than 2. So we summarize that information. So what I would do is keep a tab open on your browser that has the Discord and keep open the NBA lineup alert channel and just, look for these things throughout the night, right? If you see sims running but no significant changes, then you don't have to late swap. Now, if you do see significant changes, then I would late swap. Okay, so again, that's for like non-ultimate subscriptions. Now, if you're on the ultimate subscription, I would recommend late swapping at each swap window. And the reason for that is because you're going to be taking advantage of our live contest sims. So with the live sims, what we are doing is we are pulling in the box score information as the slates play out, and then we are projecting the rest of the game. The reason that I recommend doing it at each window is because as more and more of the games play out, what lineup or what score is going to be needed to win the contest becomes more and more clear as that data becomes available. So the contest sim gets more accurate as the night goes on. So what you are doing is just re-optimizing your lineups and re-optimizing your lineups and re-optimizing your lineups based on that new data. And that only works for the contest sim. So that's why if you're on an ultimate subscription, I would recommend swapping at each window. All right. Good question there. Next question from Marcus. Marcus said, if I select 5 lineups and save the contest and then select 15 more later and save the contest on the same one, does that overwrite the original 5 or does it fill in the blank spots? Okay. So I'm a little confused. I guess it would depend how many entries you have. So basically say you have one contest that is a 20 max and you build 5 lineups. What the builder is going to do is it is going to enter the 5 lineups and it's going to duplicate them. So each lineup would technically end up in your entry file 4 times. You can't partially fill a CSV is I think what you're getting at, because you're saying, hey, I want to build 5 lineups and then, hey, I want to build 15 and then fill in those gaps. So you can't partially fill a CSV. It will just fully fill the CSV. So you can't enter 5 and then go do 15 separately. What you would want to do in this case is take advantage of the favorites feature. So what the favorites feature does is it allows you to take multiple builds or multiple lineups, send them to the favorites tab, and then put all of those lineups into your contest at the same time. So what you could do is, hey, I could do 5 lineups, in this build 1, and then I could open up a build 2 and run 15 lineups at whatever time I want. And then, when I'm done with the 5, I send those to the favorites. When I'm done with the 15, I send those to the favorites. And then I'll have 20 lineups in the favorites tab. And then when I'm ready, I can save to my contest from here. So what that would look like is I run a build. I set this to 5 lineups. I'm going to use this star icon. And then you'll notice that the favorites is grayed out at the moment. Well, look, when I click this star icon, favorites becomes clickable. It becomes white, and then the star is green. And then when I click into this tab, I'm going to see 5 in the My Lineup section here. So you can run as many builds as you want, send as many lineups to the favorites, and then when you're ready, come in here and use the Save to My Contest option. Oh, there was a follow-up here that I missed. Question was scenario. I have 3 20 max contests. I want to use the top 5 RAROI contest sim lines from the biggest contest in all 3. I want the other 15 to be unique for the other 2. How do I achieve this? So what I would do is I would have, what would I do? This is an interesting one. So you're basically saying, hey, I have 3 20 max contests. It sounds like you're building them all separately here, because you're saying you have 320 max. I want to use the top 5 RAROI contest sim lines from the biggest contest in all 3. So what you're saying is like, hey, I want to take 5 lineups, use them in all 3 contests, and then have 15 be different in each one. So what I would do is I would run your first build of your 20 max. I would send the 5 lineups to the favorites. And then whenever you decide you're going to use the other 15 lineups, like, okay, so right now I have 5 lineups in favorites, right? So let's say that this build that I'm using is my first 20 max. So I already know that the 5 lineups are here. What I could, actually, what I would do instead of the favorites is I would just lock these lineups in. So you have this little lock icon. So what this will do is make sure that these lineups never go away. So I'm going to lock these lineups here. So then I have 5 locked. So then now I would save these 20. I actually don't know if this will work. So we're going to find out right now. So I wonder if you could trash a locked lineup. Okay, you can. Okay, let's go back to the trash. Let's bring those back. Okay, so I would fill the 20. This is what I would do. I would fill the 20. Then I would take the 5, and then I would send those to the favorites. Now what I would do is trash these 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I would put my lineups to 15. I would get my next 15. I would send those to the favorites. And then now in my favorites, I have 20 lineups. I would fill those from here. And then I would go back to my build 1. I would remove the 5 lineups from the trash. And then I would also clear the favorites. So I can go to favorites. I can right click and I can click clear. So now I've filled 2 contests at this point. And then I would go and relock the 5 lineups and then fill it again. So you're going to and then come back to your build and fill number 3. So it's a little tricky, like exactly what you're trying to do. But if you really were intent on doing it, then I would do it the way that I just showed you. So fill it from build 1, fill number 2 from favorites, fill number 3 from build 1 in that sequence. All right. Next question here from Henry. And Henry said, I want to make sure I'm not missing a step in late swap. When I need to late swap, I hit the late swap icon, maximize the potential lineups to build, run contest sim. I have used live sim / lineups checked since I create sims via right click. I then change my min uniques if the swap X lineups is less than total entries I reduce uniques. I use one sim for my 20 maxes. If I felt like my single 3 max needs to be swapped, I do them separately, and I usually build 100 lineups per entry. Okay, yeah, no, I think that you're doing it just fine. So basically what you're saying is like, hey, I'm coming in here, clicking the icon, setting up my swap build, changing my swaps per lineup. I'm running that. I'm running my live contest sim. I'm adjusting some min uniques. And then I'm just using the contest sim for my 20 max. But if I think that my single entries and 3 max also need to be swapped, I'll do a second I'll do a second late swap build with only those contests, and I'll use 100 swaps per lineup, which I think is fine. So the only thing that I would say here that I didn't notice is that you say you're running your contest sim. So, there's like a little bit of a debate what sorting metric you should use in late swap here. What I do, which I've started doing from talking with like Matt, is that after about an hour into the slate, I will switch to ROI. And the reason for that is that, the Cleveland in the Pacer game here might lock at 4 my time, and then the next game locks at 4:30. But like, even if the game locks at 4, tip off isn't really until like 10 minutes later. So by the time I need to run my late swap, only about like 10 to 15 minutes have actually played out in the contest. And I just don't feel like there's enough information that's, I don't feel like enough scoring has occurred for any tangible information to be used in the live sim. So that's like my personal opinion here. So I will still late swap, but I will use if there's news, but I will use risk adjusted ROI still, just because I'm treating it as like a pre-slate almost like adjustment here. And then once we get like an hour into the slate, this 5 o'clock window comes. Then what I'll do is I will late swap again, but I will use ROI. So like at a certain point in a contest, you're basically just trying to maximize for the most returns possible. If your lineups are doing bad, if your lineups are doing good, you want them to get all the way there. So for me personally, when I am late swapping about an hour into the slate, I am switching from risk adjusted ROI just to straight ROI to try and maximize my returns. So that's like the only thing that I didn't see here. So I just wanted to, give you that point of, I don't know, that strategy tip, I guess. All right. Quick one here from Ryan. I'll cover this because this is coming up really, really fast here. Ryan said, is SaberSim supporting the Dodgers Padres Korea games? Yes, we are. I was told that these are counting toward regular season games. So we will have simulations and projections and full support for the Dodgers Padres Korea series. All right. Jumping over to the YouTube chat. Question from Dante. Hey, Drew, should I lower or raise sim diversity as the night goes on in NBA since the slate is getting smaller and smaller? Honestly, I don't think you need to. There was like some like pre-contest sim, there were some ideas about like, hey, if your lineups are doing really good, then you want to lower sim diversity to play like more of the best plays as the night goes on. And then if your lineups were doing bad, then you would want to increase sim diversity to try and find some higher upside plays that might not be as obvious in an attempt to try and get some of your money back. Well, if you're using contest sims, the builder is going to understand where your lineup is and how to maximize the most return. So, think about like you have this one lineup where it's not doing great. Well, when we're building out 10 different child versions of that original lineup, and then we're running it through the contest sim, the lineup that, is going to be like probably the most different and plays out well in the contest sim is going to be the lineup that you want to play. So like the contest sim can figure that out for you. But if you're not using the contest sims, then you can still use that practice of, hey, my lineups are doing good. I want to lower sim diversity a little bit. If my lineups are doing bad, then I possibly want to increase it just to trying to get to some more high upside plays to hopefully get more of my money back than I would rather leaving it where it is. So that would be my advice. All right. Aaron said, when will the team score adjustments be fixed? I thought this was fixed. So what was happening here is, like, say that I go to my team stacks and then, I want to go adjust Cleveland and I want to go adjust, I don't know, Miami. Where's Miami? Then I hit apply. Now, when I go to players and I go to these teams, so what was happening was that this adjusted SaberSim projection column was all zeros. Well, that seems to be fixed here. And then what one thing that's different here is that you do need to go to the gear icon and then you need to change your source projections. So it's going to stay on the SaberSim baseline. Well, you need to change it to SaberSim adjusted for those changes to take effect. So I think the difference here is that we used to auto switch it to the adjusted because, you were making that adjustment. I think that functionality just went away by accident. I don't think it was on purpose here. So I did mention this to the team, like, hey, this workflow is like a little bit different than previously. So they are looking into it and going to be seeing if they can, adjust that to be the way that it used to be. But right now, your adjustments are working is basically the important part. And all you need to do is just come into the gear icon and switch your projection source. But those changes are here and they are present. So just switch the source for now, and we'll see what we could do about getting those to auto apply the way that they used to previously. All right. Looking here, looks like we're all caught up with questions in the Discord. And that was our last question in the YouTube chat. So probably going to call it there. Appreciate you guys tuning in and hanging out with me. I will be right back here tomorrow, Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern for our next show. And our team will be reaching out to the winners for week 1 of the PGA mini challenge. So appreciate you guys. See you all tomorrow. Thanks. Take care. Bye.